Prime Minister François Legault floated the idea that public prayer should be banned across the province of Quebec. He proposed that in Montreal, there were a few incidents involving Muslims, Islamists, whatever you want to call them, in Montreal, engaging in public prayer in front of the Notre Dame Basilica, a very iconic landmark.
Many years ago in Quebec about secularism, and I don't want to see again in public. In private, you can do whatever you want, but in public, including in public schools, to see people trying to have children, have small people having to pray in the classrooms.
But in public spaces?
In public spaces, it's the same. I think that people are a bit fed up to see that.
I think it's a little crazy because you're working for a public office, you should be a little bit okay being in the public eye. But I'm really glad they accepted the petition, and I'm hopefully they get to the minister's desk and he'll take a look at it and listen to these voices seriously.
Alexa Lavoe for Rebel News, and I'm currently at the National Assembly in Quebec, where Citizens Go, in partnership with Voice Unite for Christian Values and the Pro-Life Coalition, is gathering today to deliver a petition urging the Quebec government not to impose a ban on public prayer. This comes after several incidents in Montreal where Islamic prayers were held in public spaces, on streets, in parks, and even in front of the Notre Dame Basilica. These incidents have sparked outrage among Quebecers, with many expressing concern. Yet, the reality is that Montreal Mayor Valérie Plante has refused to act or address the issue. Instead, many see the provincial government using this as a political tool to score points ahead of the upcoming election, simply moving to ban all faith groups from praying peacefully.
De voir des gens qui prient dans les rues, dans des parcs publics, c'est pas quelque chose qu'on souhaite au Québec.
Je pense qu'il faut respecter la liberté d'expression, la liberté de religion. Je ne sais pas sur quoi M. Legault s'acharne. Il me semble que c'est constamment les musulmans.
C'est une réaction un peu navrante de M. Miller qui mélange beaucoup de choses. Il pense qu'au Québec, on ne veut pas d'islamisme radical, ce qui est très, très différent avec le fait qu'il y a sur le territoire québécois des gens qui pratiquent la religion musulmane.
Today, Citizens Go, alongside UVVC and the Pro-Life Coalition, have gathered over 13,000 signatures and are here to deliver them to the government. I'm here not only to discuss their petition, but also to explore broader issues, including the rising attacks on Christianity across Canada and the contrasting treatment of Islamic street prayers. Let's hear what they have to say today.
We all know about these kind of incidents that occurred in Montreal that angered some people, and we know that this solution is the so-called solution of banning prayer is directed towards those incidents. Prime Minister François Legault floated the idea that public prayer should be banned across the province of Quebec. Now that sounds very crazy to many people's ears. The reason he proposed that was that in Montreal there were a few incidents involving Muslims, Islamists, whatever you want to call them, in Montreal, engaging in public prayer in front of the Notre Dame Basilica, a very iconic landmark in Montreal. And a lot of people were really disturbed by that, by the perception of what that meant and so forth. And so there was an uproar about that particular incident. And to kind of dispel the anxiety that people felt about this kind of intrusion or this kind of exhibit, they decided to float this idea of just banning public prayer altogether. And our response to that is that this is like killing a fly with a bazooka. It's completely disproportionate. This is a Montreal-centric issue of some pro-Palestinians or some Islamists kind of behaving in an uncivil way in some parts of Montreal. It's a problem involving the very left-wing mayor who doesn't want to enforce regulations and laws already in place. She's tying the hands of the police department, apparently, rendering them unable to really enforce the law and to just get certain people out of the way if they're blocking traffic or whatever. So I think this is a problem that's really Montreal-centric. And when you say, to solve this problem, we're going to ban public prayer for everyone, everywhere in the province of Quebec, I find it ridiculous. And it actually makes me think that the Quebec government is so anti-faith and anti-Christian in particular that they're willing to use this pretext of fighting Islamism in Montreal to have an excuse to eliminate religion from the public square in Quebec. That's my intuition. I just find it so ridiculously disproportionate a solution that this is the only thing I can really come up with to say, the real target is actually the public display and the public influence of religion in general, but Christianity in particular, that they're trying to eliminate as their true rival, because they're secularists or practical atheists running Quebec right now. And they're looking for an excuse that's kind of popular. This Islamic exhibitionism displeases a lot of Quebecers. So they're saying, let's take advantage of this to ban public prayer in Quebec, ban public religion in Quebec, ban the influence of religion and Christianity in the public square in Quebec, and we'll have our cake and eat it too. There's an election coming up next year at the provincial level, and they're looking for ways to get some popularity for their party. La Coalition Avenir Québec, the ruling party currently, is down in the polls. They have to show nationalist muscle. This is a popular issue for Quebec, getting rid of these Islamist displays in Montreal. So they're using this as a means of gaining a little bit of popularity, I fear. And so we're saying, no, don't instrumentalize the faith of Quebecers. If you get rid of public prayer, you're hurting Christians, you're hurting people of other faiths, you're grossly violating freedom of religion in the province. And we're just saying, Campagne Québec Vie, Quebec Life Coalition, Citizen Go, UVVC, which is a defense of Christian values in Quebec organization, we're saying you're going too far, François Legault, and please step back, take a breath, and realize that religious liberty is a fundamental building block of Western society.
Why do you think François Legault and the other people in the parliament are not willing to address the real issue, that is the Islamic prayer, and instead attacking all faith?
Well, there's two possible reasons in my mind. One is political correctness, not wanting to be perceived as xenophobic, as anti-Islam, as irrationally afraid of the other, and so on and so forth. And so the other thing is, perhaps, like I said, they are wanting to placate minorities that they can then instrumentalize to fracture society. I think it benefits secularist, progressivist, and ultra-liberal governments to have a fractured society, a society that doesn't have any dominant set of values and beliefs, and thereby they can divide and conquer. They can have a bunch of fractious groups, balkanized, fighting each other, Muslims, Christians, Hindus, and so on and so forth, and they rule over them all. Whereas if they allowed, for example, the Christian majority to express itself, and if they suppressed elements of Islam that were irritating that majority, then they would be allowing Christianity to shape the public life, society, and that would go against their liberal, ultra-progressive priorities, which they will not avow openly, but they instead pretend they are neutral, pretend they are completely objective, while in an implicit way, promoting a very radical, progressive ideology.
Là, soit que moi je prends la pétition.
Non, non, mais mais est-ce qu'on peut prendre au moins une photo de la main? Vous n'avez pas de visage, vraiment. C'est ce qu'on fait souvent.
Yeah, it was a pretty bizarre because it's just like, it's a clear envelope with just 2 pieces of paper and a USB drive with just PDFs on it. So it's kind of weird that they had that much security needed just for like something very office stationary, pretty much. So yeah, it's kind of crazy and insane, the fact that they had to pull out so much security guards and have to even like ID us to make sure, even though we sent them letters and emails saying we're coming to do this, we were like known to them that we were come and do that today at this time. So it was a bit bizarre, but I am glad that they accepted the petition.
Well, I think that Canada itself is becoming undermined because it's Christian culture that really shaped Canada and defines its essence. And even the liberties that are afforded people of all faiths stems from, I would say, a Christian tolerance and charity to all. Whereas we're going towards an aggressive and exclusive secularism that fights all faiths. And if it allows, like I said, certain faiths, it keeps them as little pets, meaning if Muslims are tolerated for a while, it's only so that they could serve as counterbalance to other faiths, so that the secularists, the progressivists, the ultra-liberals can rule over a divided country. So I would be just worried about this trend towards radical secularism, towards detestation of the Christian roots of Canada, which will lead to an abolition of the rights and the tolerance that Canada is known for, because these have Christian origins.
Don't forget to go over rebelfieldreports.com. On this website, I encourage you to donate what you can to support our journalism and to make sure that we are continuing to show you the other side of the story.